Welcome back to Let's Talk Careers. I'm so excited to bring another incredible guest. Today, we are speaking with Samer Kassas, who is the owner of Career Leap and spends every day helping people just like you find their best jobs again. Welcome, Samer. I'm super excited to have you with me today.
Thank you very much, Maria. I'm very honored today to be invited to this session, and I hope your client will enjoy it.
I'm really excited to have this conversation. I mean, anyone that knows me knows I love talking about anything about careers, and definitely diving into this conversation with you today is not just exciting for me, but also I know it's going to be really insightful for anyone thinking about changing job or maybe overcoming some of the challenges they might be facing on their job right now and helping them to get through to that next step. I have so many questions. Definitely want to be diving into different parts of this. But before we jump into your tips and insights, take me back. Where did it all begin for you? How did you know that you wanted to become a HR expert, eventually open your own business, and spend your career helping other people with theirs?
Very interesting question. Thank you very much for this. And to be honest, being an HR person was always kind of a vague information.
Mm.
Since the very beginning of my career, similar to any other youth at that time, I was kind of exploring the water around me. And then push myself into sales for some time. Then I don't really like it. Push myself again for customer service jobs, and most of the new people graduated will be like exploring these areas. And I thought like this is a very interesting area, but like the aspect I'm doing, the targeted audience, where I am going, and then I am kind of a constant thinker. I analyze things a lot since very beginning and started analyzing things. Why in sales this type of customer is behaving this way? Why these people are in this country are behaving in this different method? Why sometimes, and it's very touchy topic most of the time lately, is why kids are behaving differently than adults, male, female, different countries. Okay, there's people differences. Everyone have uniqueness and they have different competencies. At that time, I really don't know all of that, but started analyzing things from that perspective, and then until later, I discovered this is called HR.
HR, definitely HR. And you've been doing it for quite a while now. Have you seen a real change in the way that people look at recruitment, hiring, firing, development in this time that you've been in HR?
True, that's really a fact. So the whole human resources industry have been evolving very fast lately. And I may say over the last 2 decades, there's a big changes. HR started as a personal service, mostly done by accounting department at the very beginning. And accounting department was the one who is taking the contract of the employee, admitting it to the administration files, starting paying their payroll, and you see all the benefits coming with the accountant. Later, firing, and as you said, like the last few days in the company, is again handled by accounting. And I don't think most of the people they would like to connect their life with an accountant who is treating them as numbers and expenses or income or money. And that's very painful for many employees. During the middle of the journey, they did not feel the importance because they were getting their salary and benefits at time, and that's the role of HR. Everybody is very interested dealing with HR from hiring, and then the last point, if I may say, retiring. That HR hire and retire. Huh?
Mm.
By the way, it's like a certain consequence.
Yeah.
In between, it's only service department mostly. And until later, human resources has become something real. So there was start of being recruiting, employee relation, managing attendance, training, payroll more, and then HR files, giving references even for old employees. Until another stage of this, which was called human capital division. And human capital division become a bigger role, covering areas of talent acquisition, induction and boarding, recruitment, and then the period of handling the probationary period. And then it's also a big involvement between recruitment and training to make sure that the employee is settled in the job, then moving on with his career. Later on, employee relation getting involved, development, training and development, appraisals, performance management, attendance management, leave management become very essential thing, getting data management and analyzing the trends of the employee, then engagement of the employees. All of this are coming under the span of human capital division. And that's the move from this for this industry from a very basic thing, personal management, until human resources and human capital.
That is such a journey. Thank you for unwrapping that. I think that helps most people understand the different components of human resource management. But what I find really interesting is where it all began in terms of, I am trying to think of any accountant I've ever met, I would not attach the component of people, empathy, understanding, because they're more data numbers. And of course, we're generalizing, but it's really interesting to see how exactly it has evolved. Now, I want to dive in much deeper into what you do currently. So take me through a typical scenario. A client comes in struggling to find a job. How do you take it from there? Most people think it's all about a CV, right? So they think if I get it all on a CV and I hand it over to a recruiter, they should be able to find me the perfect job. But is it really like that? How does that go when you work with clients?
That's amazing. And honestly, when I start hearing from job seekers that they think it's the resume or the CV,
Mm,
I become 50% happy because most of the people or the job seeker think getting a job is only about getting a right connection in the right company. And then we need to eliminate some of this. Let's think about where is the employee are applying. So if the country is really booming, the economy is good, there's a lot of opportunities, and then the candidate himself or the job seeker is highly qualified, have a great skill, have already contributed to big company and created value, and then he is in the right market and he is qualified, then companies should be proud to hire them. Why he is struggling to get the job? It's only because there's no enough visibility from
mm,
the side of the job seeker toward the companies. Companies are lately not really looking for employees. There's a lot of candidates, skills, people who is already working, settled in their job, and looking for a career change or moving to another opportunities. So the market become very busy now. Companies don't need to headhunt, and headhunting become only for very niche positions that is not available in the market. Most of the jobs are related to high competencies of sales and customer service and administration, and that's available. So we need to push the job seeker by themselves to have a higher level of visibility. How do they achieve the visibility? Is through different tools. So resume is one of the tool, and we need to set the objectives of the resume. Resume will never get us a job. And
mm,
if you apply for a job now, wake up in the morning and find a job offer in your email, first thing come to your mind, this is another scam. It never worked that way. But a resume will get us, people will tell me sometimes it's gonna get us an interview. Even though the resume will only get us a phone call from the HR. It will
mm.
motivate the HR to pick up the phone, call the person, hi, are you still available? And ask them screening questions. Then this call should lead us to the interview. By setting the main objective of the resume, we know now how to write the resume in the right way to achieve only this goal. Second tool is LinkedIn, which is a very, very important. And LinkedIn in the business industry is creating a theory of 6 steps link. So we are connected to anyone in the whole world through 6 steps. I know a person who know a person. He know a person who know a third person. We are connected in the middle. anyone in the whole world I can get into. LinkedIn already is showing us three connections. So I am here, three steps forward, remaining two steps to cover the whole earth. If we think this way, then I can get connected to anyone, any manager of a company, any HR. So that's another set. LinkedIn have this main objectives. One, when I give one target for a tool, I can get it achievable. Other things, okay, I need to have positive references. I need to have a good history with previous companies as well. I need to have my branding. And branding is a very, very important thing.
Mhm.
Because when you asked me, you said, let me give the resume to the HR and they will be able to find me a good job. And HR is not doing that. HR are not working for the job seekers. They are working for the company. And their aim is to find a best fit for the jobs in their company. It's not their job to figure out what is my branding. It's not job. Many people will give a resume saying, okay, this is what I did in my life. One job, two job, three jobs, different areas, very beautiful mix and cocktail. And then HR, you figure it out. You tell me where do I fit. Never happening that way. The job seeker themselves, they have to have a cohesive resume with a great flow and kind of a clear branding. Then I will receive this question many times. I have worked with different jobs, different titles. I was working according to the flow of the market. So I got different jobs. Then it's your job to highlight competency that connected together to create the brand. This the resume is not my biography. It's not everything I did in my life, but it's only the job duties and competencies that creating one brand, and it's all fall for one job. And that's why we
So
encourage people to have it as one or two pages. It's one
I
job.
love that you said that. I want to pause you on that thought because what I hear many students, university graduates, women that I work with, or professional clients saying to me, but Maria, what about like showing them everything I did? You know, what if they feel like I didn't work enough? So, how do you respond to that? Because I know how I respond to that. I always tell them it has to be connected, like your resume is married to a job posting, right? And if you're looking at it that way, you only want to be putting the relevant pieces in that resume. That leaves people feeling hesitant because they're doubtful the gaps will show more than what they're putting. How do you respond to that when you work with clients?
Beautiful. This will lead me to my actually own journey. I have traveled very widely and worked in almost 14 different countries. I have worked in all GCC countries, spent 8 years of my life in Africa, and currently I am based in Canada, Ottawa. I am serving mainly two big markets, which is GCC, Canada, and the Americas, I might say, Canada, America, and GCC. So those two markets I'm very expert in, and that's come from my experience and living and working in these countries. These countries have gave me a lot of lessons to understand how people can reach into the jobs. So, sorry, I lost a little bit your question again. Can you rephrase it quickly?
Okay, I'll edit this part out.
Yeah.
The question is, people are reluctant to not put everything, right? So
Oh, yeah.
particularly
Got it.
people who
Yeah.
have many, many years of experience, they're like, but I have to put everything because if I don't put everything, maybe they'll feel like I don't have enough. How do you respond to that?
Okay. So all the jobs in the whole earth is having common 10 things. That's called interpersonal skills. So we will see that every job in the whole world have a customer service aspects, teamwork, collaboration, attention to details, analytical skills. There are 10. Any small search in the internet, we will find the organizational understanding, political understanding. Then, okay, where is this leading us? There's a different weight for each skill in each job. If I am today working in Saudi Arabia in a petroleum company, then now I am moving to Ottawa. There's no petroleum company in Ottawa with that aspect or that level of factory aspect. So what do? I can't work. then I will look at the transferable skills. If someone today is working in a banking sector and he wants to move to another sector, is he stuck there? No, I will look. Does he have a leadership skills, communication, customer service? Does he have knowledge transfer ability? Then he can be today working in a hotel industry. By highlighting this competency from the first job, second job, then I'm creating a cohesiveness, and also I'm creating a total years of experience for each competency. And that was creating the new brand or a new identity for the coming job. We kind of doing different, and we learn this by long time of career path. When someone have like me, maybe 18, 20 years of experience, then you will find yourself have done different jobs. But today job is becoming what I have learned from all of them. It
Mm.
creates my character today. I have learned something from here, something from there. When you look at your resume, you don't see this disturbance. You see kind of a clear flow leading to where I am in. The aspects that important for one job that I did 20 years back, but it's not really related to what's happening today. It's something hidden in my resume today. I don't need to hide it. By the way, LinkedIn is giving us this ability. We can hide and show skills as per our journey. So by certain time, I start hiding some skills. I start hiding some references and endorsements, and I can highlight the others to give the cohesiveness of today job.
So when you're thinking about getting into that next opportunity, particularly for an individual who's been out of work for a while, not only are they feeling scared about fitting into this new world of work that we're all experiencing right now. As you mentioned, it's a busy, competitive labor market. People are competing for jobs. Even people who are employed are still competing for those jobs. So it's almost like the employer's dream come true, having at their fingertip so many candidates, and these candidates having to gain visibility, keep up with technology, and also continue to educate themselves. However, the one thing that I see that comes across to me very prominent when I'm speaking with individuals who have been out of work for a while, it's almost as if they're going through an identity crisis of who am I if I'm not employed? And in helping them to find that next opportunity, it's not about always finding the job. It comes across to me as it's almost about helping the individual feel employable, competitive,
Mhm.
and have that confidence to jump right in again. And I see this more and more with people as they're in that aging process. Like you said, someone who could have 15, 20, 25 years of experience. How would you approach that with clients if they came to you with these feelings of doubt and fear of not being employable in today's market?
Beautiful question. And I would like maybe uh, highlight few things. Most of the people who's suffering from this is the woman in the market, and I do need to to acknowledge the uniqueness and challenges that women face in job market. For instance, because of the responsibility of women in general, also the life obligations is it's creating a higher percentage on their side from this aspect. So that will focus on few areas. As you said, first thing, doubting. So we have a confidence gap at this stage. We
Mm.
have also kind of, I'm getting outdated. I have been out of work for 5 years and the whole thing changed. I'm from maybe IT industry. Then there's a skill obsolences about this. So it's getting old. What's happening? So I need to cover first thing, the confidence gap, the obsolescence of skills. The third thing, and that's very important, is creating a new package of work-life balance. And that's really very, very challenging with women in the market who's been outside of the work and then they need to get back to work. They need to have certain flow to get back to this. There is also a big showing in the market for companies who are framing written to work.
Mm.
Uh, by gradual things, supporting, having a higher level of diversity and inclusion within the company to invite and allow and providing with opportunity. So I would really focus on these four areas. For instance, for women mostly to cover and create the confidence. We have a lot of tools, by the way, for this. And if you allow me, I can maybe cover this more.
Yeah, definitely. Let's just keep going. We're going to come back to it just because I have all these questions in my head, and I know that we're both at different ends of the world right now. We have an 8-hour time difference. So I know that you're just starting your morning, but we're definitely going to come back to this because I know the women, particularly that piece that you talked about, women, is something that we're not talking enough about. And I could go on for days talking about, how important it is to prepare women to return to work, particularly if they've taken time off for family obligations and other situations. However, let's keep going because I know that there's somebody out there listening to this saying, okay, Maria, you talked about the confidence factor. You talked about the factor of, tailoring the CV, understanding the agenda of the CV. You talked about using LinkedIn, in order to gain that visibility. But it always comes back to, but I still can't get a job. What am I supposed to do?
Okay.
I still can't get a job. How do you help them?
Uh, can you hear me? I think I cut for a second.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. So since we have four challenges at the very beginning, we need to explore this with different tools. As you said, first thing, okay, this is a nice talk. I'm motivated. I want to go back. I know I can do it. I know I have a big value for the companies. Seems they don't see that. How do
Mm,
I get a job? I need something tangible. I need tools. So first tool we need to look at is the resume and LinkedIn profile. How a woman being disconnected from the market for a certain period, and there's a lot of conditions. She might be having a baby today, and that's a big responsibility and a very unique responsibility. Nobody in the life can do it but her. Then she need to be out of work for maybe 2 years. And then how does she go back? There's a lot of different challenges, and most of the time we find a woman is kind of connected a little bit with her life with the career journey of her husband, and then her husband have found a job in different country. She's obliged now to resign and then move and then get another challenge of job search. Maybe there's a transitional period. It's 5 years, sometimes 10 years. Then resume is the first thing job seeker will think about. Anyone who's not looking for a job, he don't need a resume probably. Okay, then how to write the resume? We need to acknowledge, and that's very important, acknowledge the career break positively. So it's not something to try to hide because there's another party in the room trying to figure out everything. They are called HR. And so don't hide it, but act with it and acknowledge it in a positive manner. The second thing, highlight a very important transferable skills that you have it before and getting it today job. And many jobs, even with the aging of the technology, the evolution of industries, most of the jobs is looking for someone who have a high level of communication. That's the transferable skills, attention to details, analytical skills, and then teamwork. So these things will never get old. Even if you are in any industry, we need them in all the job. Highlighting this and then using another type of resume. Most of the people will have a chronological resume, talking about date and it's going through years. Then a woman who have a big gap, I would advise them to focus on a functional resume, focusing more on the skills and accomplishment rather than only a chronological work history. Um, yeah. Yeah, okay. A very important thing is the professional summary of the resume. And that will also tell your story. And the candidate, the job seeker, should be the one who can explain their journey within 4 lines.
mm.
They should have this ability of presenting themselves. HR is very busy. Okay, I'm giving them an excuse by saying busy, but I would say a little bit sometimes lazy. So they don't want to look at very long resume. If they could read only the professional summary and understand who are you, They think they have got everything and they don't need to read everything. So try to spend really a big effort. Don't write the professional summary in 5 or 10 minutes, but spend 2 or 3 days to have a very cohesive and informative professional summary. Moving on to LinkedIn. LinkedIn also is a very important tool to use by someone who's being connected from the job market by building connection, keeping in touch with connection, getting good references and endorsements. Sometimes posting something on LinkedIn will keep you available in the market. Resharing some posts will give an ability for others to understand that you are a continuous learner. You're exposing to certain type of knowledge in the market, and you keep monitoring it and resharing it and keeping yourself aware in this area. Uh, that's the tools. And then by the person who is looking for a job himself, herself, we need to embrace upskilling and learning. And that's very important also to succeed again. Even during the period of disconnection, we need to first of all identify the occurred gaps in this era, and then leveraging free resources. We have all today LinkedIn, Coursera, a lot of resource. Indeed also is giving this. Big universities are giving a lot of courses, so that will cover these gaps. Then looking at professional certifications. Many people, when they get disconnected from the market, they might lose their certifications. So we need to look at that and start highlighting the things that will last with us, and also start working on the missing gaps and gaps also in certification. I'm sorry, I lost my voice.
That's okay. No, that's quite a bit. Let's go back to something you said a few breaths ago. You talked about what you were focusing in on women, particularly who took a career gap for whatever reason, whether it's having a child or wanting to move country with her spouse and having to take that gap. You said don't hide it on the resume. But that's where women are wondering, how do you make it positive? Like you said, show it up positively on the resume or the CV. Give me an example of what that looks like in reality, because women are struggling to understand, how do you make the gap look like you were actually doing something other than giving life to a human being, which is the most incredible thing that anyone could do. And I think as a career practitioner, I can see the transferable skills, but I'm not in HR. So how would a HR person view a positive gap in the resume?
Mhm. Very interesting. And that's what is bringing us to the new concept of resume. People today are not looking at CV, looking at resume. And is it only a different word or different product? I would emphasize it's a totally different product. The CV is a curriculum vitae, and it's telling all my story since I have been in the university, started studying later my master degree, have a between in between some little job, then survival job, then minimum wage, then another sales, customer service. So it's everything. But resume is going to say, I have a product that will lead me to this job. So they look like a matching. And this is what HR is doing. They are looking at the job post. It has a title, job summary, qualifications, and duty. I'm expecting a resume to look similar so I can say this is a best fit for the job. I need someone who have a clear title with his branding, professional summary, and then his education and qualifications, then looking at his skills, then I'm comparing job duties from there with the accumulated performed duties in the jobs. Then that will give us another tool. If I have 20 years of experience and I am applying today for a job who need 10 years of experience, then I don't need to speak about 20 years of my life. I can only highlight 10 years, 10 related years of experience. And wherever there's a gap in between, I might be doing another job, another industry. Then I don't need to show it in this resume. Resume is just like the hook to catch the right fish. One hook, one fish. I might be a very strong fisherman who can kind of catch different 10 type of fishes, but I will never tie all these hooks together and throw them in the water and tell the that fish, which is called HR, pick one, pick me a fish and give it to me. No one will do that. In fact, a group of hooks will look scary for all the fishes. A big CV, 10 pages, will look scary for any HR person. Give him 2 pages highlighting only related competencies for the job that you are hunting for with the right number of years, and then you'll get the job. They need 5 years, show them 7 years. That's enough. You don't need to show the whole 20. And the other solution is going for the functional resume. And we will see this many times in medical fields. So if I have let's say a nurse, and the nurse is working in a medical corporation and she has a 20 years of experience. So kind of this job is being delivered 100% correctly and competent from the very first 3 years. And then it's becoming repeated. Having a resume saying 3 years in this hospital, 5 years in this hospital, 3 year here and 2 year there, it will look like a repetition. Turn it into a functional resume. And then say all this period I have been working in medical field in this title, and those are all the accumulated duties and skills. And that will give the full idea of the HR. They're looking for a total number of years to invite the person for the interview. The interview is another story where they have to show their capability to get the work. And the capability to get the work is where you do some sales techniques by showing the company your real value. So if a person real value is $100,000, that's what is the company getting from their resume. They have to promote themselves as 100,000, and then they will end up with a salary of 70 to 80,000 because that's what company doing. They are getting higher company from the employee. If we are looking at a very matching value, then companies will go for subcontracting or hiring companies who will sublet some employees to them. Employment in general, company are getting higher value than what they pay. And we need to do this marketing part.
That's amazing. Oh my goodness, we can go on forever, but I'm really conscious of our time. So I'm going to kind of bring this to a close now. And right before I do, if there were only three things that you know are game changers for anyone looking for a job in this competitive market, what would those three things be?
Tough question. You're making the difficult question very easy. Three things as game changer for a job seeker to get a job.
Yeah.
Getting the right presentation for your brand is a game changer. And then being able to show your value for the recruiter is definitely game changer. If the person is kind of lost with his brand or what he can do, HR will never figure out that. They don't have time to do that, and they are not going to spend that effort. Also, for the legal perspective and responsibility for HR, they need things to be clear for them about matching the job. Then the last one, and it's a very important, is creating connections. I will never say having connections because there is hundreds of companies and I can never get connections in every company. But the ability of creating connection, that's the game changer. When you look at the company and say, oh, that's a target for me. I want to work for this company. Let me look at my friends on LinkedIn who have a common friend in that company. Then I will send him a message and say, do you have someone inside who you can introduce me to him? I have applied for this job. I don't want a job. I don't want to get me a job, and don't never ask for that. Nobody will give you a job based on connection, but they will give you a chance to look at your resume. In today's world, we are no longer receiving 40 or 50 applications per vacancy. In fact, we are receiving sometimes 20,000 applications. And in the past, even 50 or 40 was a kind of challenge. So when HR is receiving 50 applications per job, they need, to be fair, they need like 2 to 3 days to look at these resumes, study them, highlight gaps and qualification and skills to be able to give a short list for hiring manager. Hiring manager is never having that patient for 2 days. So they will always say, Samer, help me. I've been waiting for this job post to close. I'm handling important projects. Can you do it within 3, 4 hours? If you cannot do it, send me the whole pool. I will be looking at it. And I don't want to lose my job, definitely. So I want to do it within 3, 4 hours. And then I will be looking at resumes at achieved education, total years of experience, and related certifications. Then that will take maybe 2 minutes. Write your resume in a way that will lead to someone who can read it in 2 minutes. And then connection will solve this problem. Connection, hi, I applied for this job. Can you please let someone only look at my resume?
Mm.
When you request a small request from a connection, they can help you. When you ask them to give you a job, nobody can help. But can you speak with HR, your friend? I applied. It's there. Just pull it from the pool. The pool is containing like 10,000 applications, 20,000 applications from many aspects, many qualification, many areas. And then what is taking the right word today is the systems. System is filtering all this 10,000 and again giving the HR 50 to look among them. So we are back to the old age, 50 resumes. HR again is filtering within 50 what they are used on. But there is 9,950 very
Mm.
qualified persons and someone need to look at them. And this is what connection is doing for me. Moving me from the big pool just for a hand of HR to look at it and say, wow, it is an impressive resume. I have been receiving requests from hire manager always saying, this person have applied for the job, make sure he's in the pool, or why you did not push him to the pool. And then when I'm looking there, it's a good resume. What's happening is the system is not able to understand your resume or read it. Many
Mm.
people are doing their resumes on third-party providers.
Yeah.
Canva, I don't want to mention names. Okay, many
Yeah.
websites, free
Yeah.
websites. And these websites, they don't want to give you a free product. They want to have you more time on their websites, spending hours on their website updating. And every time you need to update, they will say it's a blocked file, PDF file. Come here and update it with us for free. But their gain is you are spending more hours on the website, creating high traffic for them and high ranking and optimization for their website. So ignore these websites, get the right type of file that is readable by the system. And that moment, the system will start giving you higher score and showing the candidate within the job seekers. So understanding the objective of each tool that we need to hunt for jobs, that's what is creating a big value for this tool and it's getting it to be achieved.
So you're leaving us hanging. What's the right file that we should be using for this CV that's going to be approved by the system?
Very difficult question. And even until today, I am spending the time to look at the resume manually, word by word, and letter by letter, and line by line. The resume is not like a nice copywriting job. It's not a design. Graphic designer cannot do resumes. It's a job for a person who understands how to uh, uh, turn competencies into job duties and then posting a job post. And this person is the person who can read the resume. Every line in the resume should be written in a certain model, convincing and persuasion tool. So kind of if I make it very fast, a line in a job duty should follow a bar technique, problem action result, problem action. But for normal people actually to look at this and start writing their resume in a very detailed, it's a very difficult, it's an HR job, but we need to learn it. I myself spend every time I have a client who need his resume to be done, I spend like 4 hours of preparation, studying his resume word by word and tailor-making it. And then what's happening after that? If I give him the product, then he will start also sharing it with his cousin and his uncle in America, and then his friend in Dubai who's been very successful. And then it's become another product again. So that's not gonna happen. A resume is not a suit. I will not go to a tailor and say, give me a resume, because this is something I should be able to understand how to write it. Then I am sitting with my client for like 2, 3 hours to tell them about all the gaps they have in their resume, teaching them how to fix it and how to maintain it and how to keep updating it every week or every 2 weeks or per job. They have to learn that. So whenever they start updating, they are in line with the rules. Most of the rules of the resume is it should be readable by the system. It should be giving them high score. It should be readable by the HR, the screener, who's going to spend only 2 minutes on my resume and decide where do I fit. And then it should be readable by the interviewer who will be coming to the interview and asking me questions. So they should understand the competency. The resume also should show all my high weight competencies. Every job have 10 competencies, but every job have 5 of them with a high weight. And like it's a really big job, and there's no website who can write me a resume. Never. It's a manual job, and it is a big job. It will take hours and hours of preparation, hours with the candidate to teach them, and then to maintain later.
Amazing. Oh my goodness. So much to think about. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate the time you've given us today and sharing these insights. We could go on for probably ever talking about it. But I know in your work, you've traveled the globe, you've worked in the Middle East, you've worked in the Americas, and working with thousands of candidates and clients through your journey and employers. As you reflect on your own career, how easy is it for you to do everything that you say that clients should be doing? When you think of your own career, do you think, wow, it's not as easy as we hope it can be when we're looking for that next opportunity? How would you describe your own journey?
It is very tough, very difficult. And it took me, well, maybe until now, I don't know who I am. And that's a big question. Everybody will ask who I am, what's my skill, what's my competency. Let me do a psychometric test. There's a website who can maybe even study my DNA and tell me who I am. And then it never that way. You need to live your journey. You need to test the water yourself. Try to figure out who are you and formulate your brand until you life will take us sometimes in directions. Job opportunities will give us the certain directions. Sometimes we need to resist some directions because
Mhm.
it's not building our career path. And we see many people stuck in some customer service jobs, call centers or banking sectors, or sometimes in hotel industries. Some people is stuck there. He can't leave. Sales sometimes. You find a person very successful in sales and there's no career path for that. Then here where he need to sit down with an expert, study his file, have a mentor, have a coach. I myself, I am a coach. I'm helping people. I have a coach. And he is very expensive. I have to sit with him and I have to pay him so he can teach me new things from his deep thinking, and then I will be able to transfer this knowledge to my clients, and that's very important. So listen to the people. That's very important. Listen to seniors, learn from your kids. Kids have a very clear mind and they can really always give a different perspective for the things. And if I allow me a quick thing, once I was with my son in a flight and they serve us with the food in the flight. And I told he put his finger and he started grabbing a tomato. And I told him, don't touch the tomato, you will dirty your fingers. And then, okay, he sat down and then he looked at the tray and he picked up a cucumber and he said, don't touch the cucumber, it will dirty your fingers. And then he's upset and he don't want to eat anymore. He said, why you're not eating? He said, Dad, the food is dirty. How do I put it in my mouth? Thinking in a
Yeah.
way that, oh my God, it was my mistake at the beginning. I communicated the thing wrongly to him. I was telling him it will dirty your hand. That means dirty. Then that's something we need to learn. Listening to people, seniors, and let me give, if you allow me, a small hint for new people coming to the market, new graduates. What do they maintain in their life probably to be very successful? First thing, be a very good observant. Be an analytical thinker. Recognize that people are different. There's no one study that lead to all people professional in the same market that performing same jobs. Nothing. Everyone is different, have unique competency and unique ways of performing the jobs. Job posts is a dream of HR. You
Mm.
don't have to fulfill everything. So if you look at the job post, find some skills missing, some experience missing, apply. Because that is the dream of HR. They want to achieve it by the last day of your career with the company. But on the first day, you might have be something missing. And that's what is creating your development within the company. That's how they give the employee training because they want to cover these gaps. They have it between the employee beside them and their dream, which is the job post. Always think win-win. Whenever you go and deal with someone, whenever you ask for a favor, think always win-win. Even if you are asking someone to help you getting a job, think win-win. Try to give them something. Going for an interview, also think win-win. Somebody will tell me, what do I do to give them a win? Okay, just before you go for the interview, study their website in full and try to find one mistake and then gift it to them in the interview. Say, I was studying your website and I have found one mistake. I want to give it to you. That will show you. And then it's a win for them. They will be impressed with that. And you have given them something back free. I used to use a technique of rewarding and deprivation. So whenever I achieve something, I reward myself. Whenever I complete something, I give myself some break. Whenever I don't achieve something, then I'm not going to treat myself today. I was going to watch a film, I'm not going to watch it because I did not achieve my study for today. Then I'm pushing myself. That's something you teach your personality and character how to act. You are forcing your personality to perform more. Um, Important thing for all the youth, I will say, avoid people who is not progressing.
Mm.
I will never say successful people, but not progressing. When you see one of your connection who's doing the same thing every day, avoid them. They are pulling you down. But whenever you see someone who is progressing, learning, achieving more, exploring new areas, and that's something people also need to focus. Every day, learn a new thing, at least one. Constant but little is better than everybody
Yeah,
knows it. Okay.
definitely.
Yeah. So,
So
uh,
many things.
up-
Yeah. Sorry,
last thing, if I may add, do a
go for it.
goodwill every day. Do a goodwill every day. Try to help vulnerable people. Try to help weak people. Try to share your experience. Whenever a person is sharing his knowledge, it's growing. So you learn something, you hide it, you kill it. You
Mm.
learn something, you share it, it will grow. You learn another thing. Share knowledge, and that will make you grow,
That's
even
a
within
real
the companies.
That's a really important reminder to anyone, I think, of any group is share that knowledge. Particularly in a competitive labor market, one feels the need to hold on tightly to knowledge because if I share it, then how do I stand out? But I loved everything you said. This entire conversation has been insightful, very interesting, and I think very motivational for anyone, particularly women who have been out of work for a while and feeling that need to build their confidence again to get back in. And I really, the one thing, I mean, I'm walking away with lots of nuggets, but the one thing that I will walk away with and definitely share with my students and my clients is your resume is only trying to get a phone call, a DM, something to get attention. And also, the resume is really a summary of the competencies that they're looking for. And then the final thing, I told you so many things I'm walking away with is I never realized until you actually just said this. The job posting is the dream for HR, you said. It's not their expectation, it's the dream. It's try to get us close to the dream. Samer, I learned so much, and I'm confident anybody watching this would have learned as well. If anyone wants to reach out to you, how can they do that?
I will be very happy. Someone, if they reach me, ask me a question, I will be blessed. They are giving me an opportunity to share some knowledge, and they're allowing me to grow again. And contacting me through LinkedIn is definitely the best way. I do receive sometimes a lot of messages on LinkedIn. So I might be a little bit slow in responding. I'm very sorry for that, but I will definitely respond to every incoming message on LinkedIn. and I will respond to people. Sometimes I will jump into a phone call with the people. And most of the people are very strong in promoting themselves over the phone. So
Mm,
sometimes I'm going to push them for messages, taking them to their non-comfortable area, because mostly when you're applying for the job, you don't get the chance to know the HR until you are invited for the interview. You need to be able to present yourself in a writing in a good way. um, uh, I have a quick advice for anyone who's been out of the market, is to take care of their well-being. And that is very important. Set always achievable target, smart objectives, specific, measurable, achievable, and realistic and timeable. So everybody can find these things on the internet and start to read it, and then set yourself this target. So if someone is away from the market, then set an objective for yourself to apply for 3 jobs per day, and do this constantly. Don't apply today for 20 and tomorrow nothing, and then you will find yourself out of the market again. No, read at least 1 page per day. So set deliverable objectives, and set realistic objective, and be nice to yourself.
big one.
Things will come. I myself, any expert in the world, if we get out of employment, then we are not a superman. We will not find a job next day. It will take some time to apply for jobs, get the right visibility, and get interviews and get hired. Average time with HR is 100 days to fill a position. So we should give ourselves as a job seeker 100 days to be seen and achieving a job offer.
Thank you so much, Samer. And that is it. It brings us right to the end. Thank you for being here. And thank you, everybody, for watching. My name is Miss V, and you've been watching Let's Talk Careers with me, Miss V, and our wonderful guest, Samer Kassas, who is the owner of Career Leap. And if you didn't guess it, he helps professionals just like you find work again. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Samer.